The fear of flying is one of the most prolific phobias throughout the world, and this is for pretty good reason. Human beings were not built to fly, and it's only through the perseverance of the species as a whole that we've been able to create machines capable of flight. Because humans were never made to be that high up, however, there are often some terrifying things that are difficult for the average person to come to terms with. From a plane being hacked through the entertainment system to scorpions loose on the plane, there have been some truly mind-bending things seen so many miles in the air. Make sure to stick around until the end. You wouldn't want to miss the terrifying ghost passengers. Here are 15 instances where a flight passenger captured what no one is supposed to see. Number 15. Plane wall cracks mid-flight. On June 25th of 2018, a commercial flight from Bangkok to India was forced to make an emergency landing after a large crack appeared in the cabin wall mid-flight. Passengers were the ones who found it initially when they heard what seemed to be a large popping sound and noticed the wall separating at the seams. The incident took place aboard the Thai Airways flight from Bangkok, Thailand to Chennai, India. The Boeing 787-900 began to descend after the crack was pointed out to a flight attendant on the right side of the cabin wall. The flight landed safely at the Chennai International Airport. After landing, the passengers were transferred to a hotel. The cause of the incident was then investigated thoroughly and found to be a cosmetic issue. The inside plastic sections of the wall had cracked, but the outside walls were still firm and secure. Even so, this suggested that the walls hadn't been checked like they should have been, and the plane had to go through a lengthy inspection before being allowed to fly once again. Number 14. Severe engine failure. At 30,000 feet, the crew of a Southwest flight from Indianapolis to Orlando was faced with an extreme emergency. There was a loud pop and the airplane dropped probably a couple hundred feet. Passenger Marty Martinez said of the incident. Martinez, who was live streaming on Facebook during the flight, said he could see one of the engines on fire. He said, "I started having a panic attack. We were all kind of in panic mode." The Boeing 737-700 was carrying 143 passengers and 5 crew members. The airplane was forced to land in Pensacola, Florida, shortly after taking off from New Orleans. There were no fatalities, but one passenger was injured during the emergency landing. The cause of the engine failure is under investigation. Considering the fact that the engines are the only thing keeping the plane airborne, seeing one of them fail can be terrifying. Technically, only one is needed to fly, but planes are landed during any engine failure just in case the other one eventually fails as well, which would result in a free fall. Number 13. The eye of a hurricane. When you think about a hurricane, it's probably the last place that you'd expect a plane to want to be. For storm chasers, however, no amount of adrenaline is ever enough. And when Hurricane Ida touched down in the United States in 2021, a pair of them decided that it was the perfect opportunity to fly into the eye and discover what it was actually like from the air. This video showcases them doing exactly that, and the eerie calm that they experience once they break through the storm's inner wall is actually quite chilling. Seeing the walls of clouds on all sides is something that human beings really were never meant to see, as being that high in a hurricane is unnatural for us. The storm chasers were obviously happy with what they found, and the video has garnered quite a bit of attention online since it was posted. Number 12. The Hudson Plane Landing. The Hudson Plane Landing on the river, known more popularly as the Miracle on the Hudson, was a forced water landing made by U.S. Airways Flight 1549 on January 15, 2009. All 155 passengers and crew survived the incident. The plane took off from New York City's LaGuardia Airport at 3:24 p.m. local time, bound for Charlotte, North Carolina. The aircraft, an Airbus A320-214, struck a flock of Canada geese shortly after takeoff, causing it to lose power in both engines. After unsuccessfully attempting to return to LaGuardia, the plane was forced to land in the Hudson River. The landing was executed by Captain Chelsea "Sully" Sullenberger and co-pilot Jeffrey Skiles. All passengers and crew were evacuated from the plane before it sank. The incident was widely praised as an example of successful emergency response and teamwork. Sullenberger was hailed as a hero, and the incident was credited with helping to improve public opinion of the airline industry. Even so, for the people on board, it must have been an absolutely terrifying experience to go through. Number 11. Snakes on a plane. Although the title of this topic may remind you of a certain movie, the reality of the situation is that snakes really have been found on planes in a few different circumstances. In this particular incident, a flight from Cancun to Mexico City was forced to make an emergency landing after crew members discovered some unwanted passengers on board. According to CNN, the Aeromexico flight landed safely after crew members discovered 2 snakes slithering on the floor, along with another one present in the overhead baggage compartment. Mexican news outlet El Universal reported that the reptiles were found by a passenger. The passenger alerted the crew, who then contacted the pilot, who decided to make an emergency landing. A spokesperson said that the airline would be conducting an investigation to determine how the snakes ended up on the plane. Although they haven't been identified, it appears that they were non-venomous and probably just confused as to how they ended up so high in the air. Number 10. Fan malfunction requires emergency landing. A United Airline flight bound from Denver to Newark was forced to make an emergency landing in Chicago due to a malfunction of the first-class cabin's air conditioning system. Passengers on United Flight 837 were on their way to Newark Liberty International Airport when they began to notice the temperature in the cabin was rising to an uncomfortable level. This may not seem like a serious issue, but overheating within the plane's cabin can be the result of several incredibly dangerous technical issues. According to a United spokesperson, the crew followed standard procedures by adjusting ventilation and turning off the air conditioning system. However, the temperature continued to rise. The captain then made the decision to divert to Chicago O'Hare International Airport. "We apologize for the inconvenience to our customers and are working to get them safely to their destinations," United said in a statement. The flight landed safely in Chicago and was met by medical personnel. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. The airline then worked to get passengers to their final destinations. Although it's annoying to have to get onto a different flight, it's indefinitely better than dying on a flight instead. Number 9. Flight attendant meltdown. A United flight attendant had an epic meltdown on a full flight from Denver to Williston, North Dakota, after she was denied entry to the cockpit. The unnamed attendant was caught on video screaming and crying as she was escorted off the plane by police once the flight had landed, and that was after nearly an hour of berating the passengers while the plane was in the air. A passenger who recorded the incident said that the woman seemed to have a meltdown after she was denied access to the front of the plane by the pilot. She reportedly started screaming and throwing items, including water and wine, at passengers. When she was finally escorted off the plane, she reportedly screamed, "You effing a-holes, you're effing a-holes." A United spokesperson released a statement apologizing for the incident, saying, "We are investigating this incident, and we express our sincere apologies to our customers for any inconvenience. We've all had bad days at work, but having an angry episode and taking it out on the customers is never a good idea." Number 8. Plane hacked via entertainment system. A recent Wall Street Journal report details how a young Japanese software engineer used his computer programming skills to hijack a commercial airliner while it was still on the ground. In-flight entertainment systems contain a number of devices that go beyond streaming movies and TV shows, including engines, steering, and brakes that can be controlled via the system's Wi-Fi signal. The engineer, who reportedly had access to the system's source code, was able to access the aircraft's in-flight entertainment system, which he used to change the aircraft's speed and direction. The engineer then allegedly took a flight to Fukuoka, Japan, where he was arrested by the Japanese police. While it's a pretty cool hack, it's also a little alarming. We're lucky that this was only performed by someone who had an interest in the concept, rather than someone who actively wanted to make the plane crash or seriously alter its course. Airlines have since put a lot of work into securing their entertainment systems, which they hadn't even considered a risk before this event. Number 7. Left-wing failure. The video you're watching on screen is showcasing a plane that's experiencing a failure in its left wing. Wings are obviously a very important component of the plane that allows it to remain airborne, to manage air currents, and to maintain balance within the sky. When one of the wings becomes compromised, it's generally required that the plane makes an immediate landing to avoid further complications. There are many potential causes of left-wing airplane failure. One is a structural failure of the wing itself, which can be caused by a number of factors, including metal fatigue, structural damage, or poor maintenance. Another possibility is that the left engine failed, which could cause the plane to lose lift on that side and potentially lead to a crash. Additionally, a failure of the left landing gear could cause the plane to tip over on that side, again leading to a crash. We aren't exactly sure what happened in this scenario, and engineers have been studying the plane for quite a while in an attempt to figure it out. Hopefully they're able to find the problem and fix it on this and every other plane before something terrible happens. Number 6. Ocean crash caught on tape. If you're someone who's afraid of flying, then your worst fear is probably something going wrong with the plane while over the ocean. Well, that's exactly what happened to this small passenger craft flying over Hawaii, but one man inside was calm enough to pull out his camera and begin filming. The resulting footage is actually quite chilling, as the passengers remained fairly calm considering the fact that they're hurtling down towards the waves below. If it were me in that plane, I'd definitely be terrified that I was going to die within the next few minutes. Luckily though, all of the passengers were completely fine when the plane touched down on the ocean surface, and they were rescued fairly quickly considering how close they were to the shoreline. It certainly takes some courage to ignore your fears and record what's happening around you like this man did, and hopefully he's doing alright after this traumatic incident and has been able to move on.
Before we go on, do like this video, smash that subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face while you're sleeping.
It's time for today's subscriber pick. This image was submitted by a passenger who was taking a flight home from Brazil and through the window spotted this incredibly strange object flying through the sky. He claims that he was only able to take this one picture before it seemed to turn invisible, though he did see a strange blue glow in the surrounding area that sped off ahead of the plane. It's quite obvious that this thing seems to be a ship of some sort, though it's unlike anything that's been created on Earth so far. Unless it's a mysterious experiment created in Area 51, it's very likely that this is a ship of extraterrestrial origin. That only leads to several questions regarding what it's doing here, of course. Where do you think a ship like this came from? Do you believe that it's some sort of American military craft, or does it have something to do with aliens? Remember to comment down below with the hashtag subscriberpick and let us know what you think. Now, on to the next topic. Number 5. Scorpion loose on a plane. A passenger on a New York-bound flight from Costa Rica opened the overhead compartment of his seat and found what many people would consider one of their worst nightmares: 6 scorpions crawling on his carry-on bag. The man's wife found 3 more scorpions inside her carry-on, which was stowed under the seat in front of her. The couple, who wasn't identified, were taken to a hospital after being stung by the insects. Their condition was not immediately known. The scorpions were then taken to the Bronx Zoo to be identified, authorities said. More than 50,000 people die each year from scorpion bites, according to the World Health Organization. They're incredibly small and generally have quite potent venom, with many species easily being able to kill humans with a single sting. The scorpions were found on American Airlines Flight 969, which was carrying 185 people. American Airlines spokesman Ed Martell said, "It was not immediately clear where the scorpions came from or how they got loose. The scorpions found on the plane weren't venomous, but the airline said that it would take steps to prevent a similar incident from happening ever again." Martell said, "We're working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture to ensure that this doesn't happen again and to determine how the scorpions got loose. Hopefully we can trust his word and not have to worry about scorpions loose on any flights we might take." Number 4. Lightning strikes airplane. While it is rare, lightning strikes to airplanes do happen, as seen in the video you're currently seeing on screen. The most recent data from the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, shows that there were 28 reported cases of lightning striking airplanes in the United States in 2018. Lightning typically strikes the pointy end of the airplane, where it can be conducted through the metal skin of the plane and into the ground. This often happens during takeoff or landing when the airplane is closer to the ground. When the plane is in the air, strikes are considerably more rare, but when they do happen, they generally strike the specialized lightning rods that are designed to conduct the electricity away from all of the important components of the plane. This allows it to harmlessly travel along the body before dissipating into the air. While a lightning strike can cause damage to an airplane, most strikes are not serious, and the plane can land safely. Number 3. Plane lands sideways in a storm. This Etihad Airways A380 from Abu Dhabi was forced into a special maneuver when landing at Heathrow due to the strong crosswinds, which were effectively pushing the entirety of the plane away from the runway as hard as possible. The Airbus A380, the world's largest passenger airliner, is actually one of only a few planes capable of executing this maneuver in such high winds. The footage, posted on YouTube, shows the massive plane banking erratically as it fights against strong crosswinds. The A380 is a double-deck, wide-body, 4-engine jet airliner manufactured by Airbus. It can carry up to 853 passengers, has a range of 15,200 kilometers, 9,400 nautical miles, and flies at a maximum speed of 1,026 kilometers per hour. 641 miles per hour. Its massive size is the reason that it's capable of fighting a headwind like this, but that doesn't make it easy. It still took a massive amount of expertise to effectively turn the plane sideways and land against the wind. Many of the passengers reported that they thought it was strange when looking out of their windows, but actually didn't even realize that much was wrong. This just goes to show how skilled the pilot was at this particular approach. Number 2. Passenger severely beaten. You probably remember the news story from a couple of years ago about a man being beaten and dragged off a United Airlines flight. The man was dragged off the plane after he refused to give up his seat, and he was a doctor on his way to see patients. Dr. David Dow was among the 4 people chosen to give up their seats on the overbooked United flight to make room for United employees who were needed in Louisville. Dr. Dow is an anesthesiologist and a father of 5. He and his wife own a homeopathic pharmacy in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. In his free time, he enjoys gardening and cooking. According to his bio on the website of his practice, Dow Family Medicine, Dow's wife, Teresa, is also a medical doctor, a pain management specialist according to the couple's website. According to the couple, Dow was a refugee from Vietnam and came to America in 1975. He attended the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. He's practiced medicine in Kentucky for the last 35 years. His lawyer said that it's possible that Dr. Dow was chosen because he's Asian, according to the New York Times. United faced a lot of backlash for this, and in many ways still hasn't recovered in the eyes of the public. Number 1. Ghost passengers. A group of ghostly figures was caught on camera at an airport in Thailand. The video, which was taken with a security camera, shows a number of figures walking through the airport terminal. The figures appear to be transparent and are not visible to the naked eye. They also seem to be walking in a line and are heading towards the exit. The video was taken at Phuket Airport and was posted online by a YouTube user. The user said that he had seen the figures while he was watching the security footage and thought it would be a good thing to post online. He also said that he couldn't see them with his own eyes, but they were clearly visible on the video. The video has since gone viral and has been viewed over 1 million times. Many people have commented on the video, with some saying that the figures are definitely ghosts. Others have said that they're just people walking in front of the camera, or perhaps it's some sort of reflection that's being cast by another walkway. There's no way to confirm what the figures actually are, but they're definitely strange. Which of these things do you think are the most terrifying? Do you think people will ever really be able to understand what most of these things are and why they happen so high in the sky? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us to understand what kind of content you enjoy. And that way we can tell what kind of stuff you like us to make. Tap that bell icon if you're always looking to learn new things, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.